Thank you for listening to this Podcast One production. Available on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One.
Today's episode is brought to you by Pluto TV. Pluto TV is the leading free streaming television service. You can watch over 100 TV channels and thousands of movies on demand, all for free. No credit card needed, no sign up. Pluto TV is the easy and completely legal way to watch your favorite TV shows and hit movies. What are you waiting for? Never pay for TV again. Download Pluto TV for free on all of your favorite devices today.
There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers. A dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends. A place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view. But when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. You've made it through another week. Thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Darkness. I'm Dave Schrader over at the Supernatural News Desk, Mr. Tim Dennis. Hello, Tim.
Howdy.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, you made it through another week. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks. It's another week of life. Woohoo!
That's right. Every day above ground is exactly where we want to be. We've got a lot of supernatural news to get to. I'm going to try to weave in a couple of your paranormal encounters as well, and we have a special guest joining us in just a few moments. But let me start off, if you don't mind, Tim. I've got an interesting story. Stassi Schroeder used a Ouija board to help predict her Vanderpump Rules future on an exclusive Entertainment Tonight interview. They're pulling out all the stops on Entertainment Tonight, Tim.
I guess.
The only thing that might outweigh Stassi Schroeder's love of basic things is scary things. The Vanderpump Rules star writes all about her interest in the paranormal in her new New York Times bestselling book, Next Level Basic, the definitive basic bitch handbook. So when Schroeder stopped by the ET studios, they broke out a Ouija board in hopes of connecting with some spirits for some next-level basic guidance on Schroeder's life. Now, Schroeder quickly made it clear that the spirits were likely not going to come through on camera. Even if they had, they wouldn't necessarily be helpful. According to Schroeder, only dick spirits come through this way.
Dick spirits.
I wonder if that's a technological term associated with Ouija board ghosts. We'll have to talk to an expert on that, Tim.
Okay.
She goes on to say, yeah, just douchebags, she says, just like bored ghosts that really don't know what's up, and they're just like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to go fuck with people. It's never actually who you want to connect with. So if you're doing the Ouija board, you can't be like, I want to contact this person. If they say they're that person, they're just lying. As Schroeder predicted, no spirits were willing to come through on camera, Tim.
Well,
you really got to commit, she instructs. Like, you can't have a TV crew around you. You really actually have to be alone, and it takes a while. A lot of the time, it takes a while. You just sit there, and you're like, are we really going to continue? Are we really going to keep trying? I mean, I've sat there for up to an hour before. For the sake of time, they continued on the Ouija Q&A. Just this time, Schroeder took control of the board when asked, will her boyfriend, Bo Clark, propose this year? The 30-year-old spelled out maybe. Yeah. So that's what she had to offer, Tim. But they broke out a Ouija board on Entertainment Tonight. Yeah. We're at that point in history.
Did they summon Mary Hart while they were at it? I mean, I'm just wondering.
She's not dead, Tim.
She's not.
She's not dead.
Could have fooled me.
Speaking of summoning, why don't we summon our connection to the other side, Tim? The other side of the Ouija board, that is. Robert Murch is with us. He is all things Ouija. He knows all about the talking board, and he's here with us to break some news as well. Bob Murch, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys so much for having me. And I just want to say, so she said that dicks just come through the Ouija board. That's totally why I got in it.
Wow. That's maybe too much information. Dicks and douchebag ghosts. Those are the ones that are bored with nothing better to do. I guess they're like the lazy ghosts sleeping on their mother's couch, and then they come over to hang out with the douche board, with the Ouija board, rather. I think we should create a douche board. What do you think?
I can tell you, I can already list the number of spirits that I would, if we're going for douchebags, that what I would want to talk for sure.
Well, Bob, you have some really exciting news that's coming out. What's going on in the world of talking boards?
Well, a good friend of mine and another member of the Talking Board Historical Society, John Kozik, he's our treasurer. We have for the last 7 years been trying to find space in Salem, Massachusetts for a witchboard museum. And
so wait. So you're going to take the basic premise for every horror movie, the Ouija board, and you're going to bring it to one of the most magical and witchcraftian places on planet Earth in Salem and bring them together. Are you trying to create a black hole here on Earth, Bob?
There has to be a witchboard museum in the Witch City. It's pretty much the only place that it could possibly take care of itself. So John has been working, like I said, for the last 7 years, and he just secured the space, signed the lease yesterday, and in a few months, we will hopefully be open for business. So
that's
the store, it'll be all things Ouija, witchboard, and of course tying it into Salem because, for your listeners, they probably know, they may own a board from Salem. The Ouija board was made in Salem from 1966 to 1999. So it was once home of the Ouija board. So we're going to bring it back.
Very cool. So let me get this straight. You lived in Massachusetts, moved to Colorado so that you could open up a Ouija museum in Massachusetts.
Well, yeah, I don't really tend to do things the straight path. So I used to live in Salem, Massachusetts for many years, actually, right behind where the Parker Brothers factory used to be. And then, yes, left, and assuming that it might take forever. But obviously, John, he could close the deal that I never could. So it took me leaving in order to get it done. Maybe that was what it is.
Well, very cool. And so you assume this will be open by October?
It's definitely going to be open by October, and we're the Talking Board Historical Society, totally another entity. We are going to be announcing some pretty cool news, which we'll talk to you about when it's ready to go. But we're going to be doing some really cool things, Ouija things, in Salem in October. So for your listeners, they're looking for something to do over Halloween, and they want it to be Ouija related. Something big on top of this Witchboard Museum is going to happen.
Awesome. Well, Bob, thank you for checking in with us and updating us on the information. I will certainly, as soon as you guys are open and ready to go, you got to come back and visit. And when you're ready to break that other big news, get back here with us. Would you do that?
Of course. And you guys better be there. I'll let you know as soon as we have the opening date. It would be great to have as many of our friends and supporters there as possible because it should be pretty big in Salem.
Well, I'll tell you what we can maybe work out, Bob, is doing a show live from the Ouija board museum, from the Witchboard Museum there.
That would be epic. We would love it.
Very cool. Well, we'll work that out and get it handled. Thank you very much, Bob. And again, keep us updated with all the new changes.
Thanks, Dave, and thanks, Tim.
You got it.
Thank you.
Well, that's kind of cool, Tim. A Ouija board museum in Salem.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we talked about Vanderpump Rules. Do you know what Vanderpump Rules is?
That's when James Van Der Beek does a triple pump dunk on a basketball player, I believe. I'm not a betting man. Yeah.
But if I were, I'd bet that's not right.
No?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm not a betting man, except for when I go to Vegas and bet, or the casino and bet, or with my kids watching sporting events and bet. Other than that, I'm not a bet man, Tim. Well, a reality TV star claims that she had sex with a ghost.
Really?
I felt things I just couldn't explain. That's what this reality star is mentioning. Vanderpump Rules star Billy Lee, who acts as a SUR restaurant server, confessed she had a paranormal sexual experience. Speaking on another podcast, the actress said that the encounter happened in a Victorian house in Indiana here in the United States, Tim, in case you were confused that it might be the Indiana in Portugal.
Oh.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
She said, I fell asleep on the couch and I woke up to, and I think it was weird because it was kind of in my dream. But when I woke up, there was a ghost effing me. That's her exact quote here. There was a ghost effing me.
Whoa.
And then I had a explosive end to the dream.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so real. And even when I woke up, it was continuing, she said. So it was like this in and out of sleep, but like it was this energy. And like I knew it was a ghost. I couldn't like see him, but the energy, the vibration of a ghost was just, like effing me.
Jeez.
She's got an amazing grasp of the English language, Tim.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It was so weird, the star said. I remember the next day I told my friends, like, was there something in our weed that we smoked? Oh, there's your answer, Tim. And they're like, no. I said, I think a ghost has been in this place and it me last night.
Wow.
And they're like, okay, what? Pretty sure that's the intonation they used, Tim. The transgender actress had not transitioned at the time of the encounter and said she often had dreams that were particularly damp, Tim. It was different than any other damp dream because of I could not see this person, she recalled. This person was a ghost. It was an energy. I felt the touch on my body. I felt the depth of the touch.
Oh.
I felt things I couldn't explain. It was really weird and like creepy. And like I felt like I was being seduced by the ghost, but I liked it. It felt good. Somebody that has a trademark on the word like just made a lot of money in that story.
Oh, yes.
Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Like I do, yeah.
Like, wow. All right, well, that's my start, my little contribution to this little program we like to do, Tim. So we have Entertainment Tonight breaking out Ouija boards with Vanderpump Rules star telling her story. Then another Vanderpump Rules star can't be outdone. Your Ouija stories and paranormal encounters aren't strong enough to combat I've been effed by a ghost, Tim. So that's where we're going to start the show. From here, it can only go up. So what's our next story?
Mine is just about a TV show host getting effed in the pocketbook, Dave. That's about it.
I see a theme up. He got effed in the pocketbook. What happened?
Well, I mean, not necessarily effed in the pocketbook, but evidently Zach Bagans has bought the Devil's Rocking Chair from Ed and Lorraine Warren. So there you go. The paranormal investigator and host of Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures has purchased the Devil's Rocking Chair from the collection of Ed and Lorraine Warren. According to reports, TMZ has said that Zach bought the chair for about $67,000. That'll F you in the pocketbook right there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. 67
I picked up
grand.
the tab last time we went out to dinner, and that son of a bitch has $67,000 for a rocking chair, $50,000 for Ted Bundy's glasses.
Yeah.
No wonder I had to buy dinner.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have grabbed that check so soon.
Son of a biscuit-eating munch buncher.
Yeah. And he bought that just before Lorraine died on April 18th in Connecticut. It will be on display in Bagans Museum.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I just do think she thought he paid what? And then had a heart attack? Too?
Oh, no. That's
$67,000 for a rocking chair.
$67,000. Yeah.
Jim, you realize we have to do radio for approximately 8 more years to get even close to that money.
Well, it's for the love of the game, Dave. That's what it's for. It's for the love of the game. It'll be on display at Bagans Museum, the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. I'm going to be out in Las Vegas at the end of the month, so I may stop by and see what a $67,000 rocking chair looks like.
I think you should attempt to sit in it and make him really squirm.
Oh, yeah, because I am a big boy. I
like that. It looks a little rickety in the picture. That's my only point.
I may break that thing for 60. And then see if it's insured. See if he's insured the thing. Yeah, that
Lloyds of London are like, no.
No, you won't. The chair was involved in the exorcism of a boy named David Glatzel, that exorcism was performed by the Warrens. When the demon left him, it seemingly entered another person, Anne Cheyenne Johnson, later stabbed and killed his landlord in court and claimed that he was compelled to kill because he was possessed by a demon. That according to Newsweek. In an interview with Newsweek, Baggins said both the boy and Lorraine would see a demon called the Beast sitting in the rocking chair, which would shake and levitate. Knowing the famed Ed and Lorraine Warren were a part of this case, that I was able to buy everything a member of the Glatzel family had in connection to it, including the Devil's Rocking Chair, was a major score for me, Baggins told Newsweek. The Devil in Connecticut is not only a terrifying but also historic. And then he went on to say, it is the first time a court case's defense team sought to prove a murderer innocent by way of demonic possession, and it is the basis for Conjuring 3, set to premiere next year, he said. So there you go.
Oh, well, see, then that's a smart move. You're buying a chair that's going to be associated with a story that'll be in a major motion picture of one of the most successful horror franchises of all time. I think that $67,000 might have been a relatively good investment, Tim.
Well, yeah, until I get a sit and a rock in it, and then it's all over but the shouting.
I'm not the guy to ask about investments, though. I really thought Beta was going to win in the VHS wars, Tim.
How is that Beta player treating you, by the way?
Well, for the 5 movies that came out for it, pretty good.
Oh, good.
Crystal clear. But don't worry, I upgraded to the big Laserdisc platform, Tim, because that was the next wave.
Oh, and how's that treating you?
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But you know what I do want to talk about, Tim?
What's that?
Freddy Kruger, the parrot.
Oh, okay.
There's a parrot out there named Freddy Kruger, Tim.
Okay.
He's a Brazilian bird who's going strong despite being shot, bitten, and stolen.
Shot, bitten, and stolen.
Yeah. Freddy Krueger, the bird, has a face to match Freddy Krueger, the fictional serial killer, which might have been its salvation. The Amazonian parrot sent to a Brazilian zoo 4 years ago after it was blinded and burned by a bullet to the upper beak in a police raid on a drug den was stolen on April 16th, only to turn up beside its zoo cage in Cascavel 2 days later. It remains a mystery how the turquoise-fronted parrot escaped 3 armed thieves who also made off with another parrot still missing and a canister of gas. But the zoo's vet, Lair Ditani, has suggested that Freddy was freed because there's little demand for parrots with a mangled face. Wow, it's maybe a little too brutally honest.
That's my favorite Billy Idol song, by the way, Parrots with a Mangled Face.
Yes.
Love that song.
The Guardian, however, notes drops of blood found near his former abode have fueled speculation that the parrot fought for freedom. According to Ditoni, he's a bit of a wild one. The parrot has certainly had a traumatic life. Days before it was stolen, Freddy lost quite a bit of blood when a non-venomous snake bit the parrot's leg.
Ow.
Freddy was recovering. Wow, we add that to it. He was recovering in a storeroom when the thieves broke in, forcing a zoo guard to lie on the floor as they stole the birds, reports Brazilians gazetebweb.com. Pointing out the value of parrots for drug dealers, The Guardian notes another bird trained to shout, "Mum, the police!" was seized from an alleged drug pen in Piauí State on Monday, Tim. Piauí.
That's what you train the parrot to say.
So you got a parrot, Tim, who's been shot, bitten by a snake, stolen. He fights off his thieves and gets put back. He's the hardest-ass parrot on planet Earth. He worked with these guys in abducting the other birds and fabricated this story, kind of like a Jussie Smollett thing. That's my guess, too. He just wanted he needed to get back in the headlines. I mean, when people have forgotten about a parrot that's been shot in the face, bit by a snake, he needs to keep in the headlines.
He just wanted to keep himself relevant, is what you're saying.
That's the way I see it. I could be wrong.
Of course.
But, all right, where are we off to next?
We're going to Ireland, Dave, where evidently this ghost wanted to keep himself relevant, I guess. I have no idea. An Irish paranormal group captured a ghost on video during a spooky investigation in an old Donegal rectory. By the way, my favorite song, The Old Donegal Rectory, if you've ever heard it before. The spooky footage was one of many encounters with the paranormal on the night, according to the team. A team of Irish ghost hunters believe they have captured footage of a ghost in a haunted house in Donegal. The Paranormal Investigators Ireland group recorded their investigation of the Sharon Rectory House in Bundoran, County Donegal on Saturday. The spooky house has a long history with the paranormal, and locals claim a number of spirits walk its hallways. The investigation team visited the house on Saturday night with members of the public in search of activity. They set up cameras facing the staircase in the old building in hopes of capturing something unusual. The group said they put a child's ball on top of the stairs and claimed the footage shows the ball being pushed down by supposed paranormal forces. The group said in a post on their Facebook page, the staircase seemed to be the epicenter of activity on the night. They had a member of the public collapse and a team member feel as if she was being pushed. The paranormal investigators claim they captured a ghost child in a photograph taken during a seance on the site. Some members of the group believe they were even attacked by a demonic being at the site, leaving members with bloodshot and black eyes. They said during the seance, an entity called John made himself known to us and toyed with the team. As he came through, the team felt extremely uncomfortable, and some members of the public had to leave the room. We believe John is a demonic entity and has been oppressing the family for many years. He repeated that this was his house and that the family was living in his house. We believe that this entity attacked members of the team. One team member was left with a black eye and the others with a severely bloodshot eye. And there you go. That's what happened in the house.
Wow.
Kind of scary.
Since we're overseas, Tim, do you have some of that big bank radio money on hand that, we could kind of pool it together and beat Zach Bagan's little rocking chair, Tim?
As a matter of fact, I have exactly $5.38.
We're about $909,995 short then, Tim, because we can be the king of our own castle.
Oh, really?
For just $1 million.
Wow.
A historic 15th century property is going up for sale, though you might have to share it with a spirit or two, one of a Victorian lady and a ghostly First World War soldier or two, Tim. I took this story because of the names of the cities, Tim. I figured I'd take the emails this week.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
A historic castle in Wales with stunning views of the picturesque countryside has hit the market in excess of £1 million. While the purchase appears to be a dream property, there's more to the sale of Balladwoodland Castle, Tim.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm familiar.
Balladwoodland Castle. Yeah, it's very well known.
It's very, very picturesque. Yeah.
Yeah, now, the new owners of this Grade 2 listed castle, Tim, which dates back to about 1460, may also be inheriting a few of its oldest tenants after it was featured on the paranormal TV show Most Haunted back in 2004. In the past, staff at the castle has reported seeing an apparition of a woman in white that disappears through the walls, Tim.
Ooh.
Yeah, disappears through the walls. That's what ghosts do. A soldier has also been seen stalking the halls, and a spirit dubbed the Blue Lady, who has been seen in the tea room, according to website Haunted Rooms. The main castle of the property, which sits on approximately 15,817 square feet, is an offer, as the other section of the property has been transformed into a 4-star hotel. The Balladwoodland Castle Hotel, currently owned and run by Warner Leisure Hotels, Tim.
Oh.
Due to a covenant placed on the sale of the property, the castle for sale cannot be converted into a hotel, Tim. The 3-story country house, which features incredible Gothic Revival architecture, Tim.
Oh, architecture.
Yeah, architecture.
I'm familiar. Yep.
Yeah, is currently owned by the Balladwoodland Castle Trust.
Oh.
Their part of the property is run as a museum, gallery, and visitor attraction, but after the trust announced in 2017 they would be losing an annual £144,000 grant from the Denbighshire County Council, the organization has been forced to sell the property. So let me see. Not only are we buying a $1 million piece of property, it's losing $144,000 a year.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's not a great selling point.
No. No.
It's unclear when the museum and visitor attraction is to close its doors, but in February of 2019, the trust put the remaining 99 years of the 125 castle's lease on the market. We just need to turn this into a paranormal mecca, Tim.
Yeah, like a Disneyland, yeah.
It features business facilities such as a customer cafe, a commercial kitchen, offices, and ancillary staff accommodation. Outside, the country house sits within about 55 acres of parkland, which includes a child's play area and a replica World War I trenches exhibit, which regularly hosts reenactment events, Tim. It's also fun for a little bedtime playtime, if you know what I mean.
Ooh.
You want to go rolling in the trenches.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
There's trenches to roll in?
Yeah.
Oh.
The property has a further 2 lots for sale, a total of 200 acres and land made up of 145 agricultural and pastoral land and 55 acres of parkland. The second lot is a 2-bedroom detached single-story cottage called St. Asaph Lodge, Tim.
St. Asaph Lodge?
Asaph.
Oh.
A-S-A-P-H. St. Asaph Lodge.
You keep your asaph out of this.
Now, according to the website British Listed Buildings, the main mansion has been the home of Sir William Williams, Speaker of the House of Commons from 1634, as well as a family home, an army base during the First World War, and a private school known as Lowther College, Tim. So there you go. Just £1 million, Tim. I think we could take the losses of $144,000 a year. I think we can make that only $138,000 a year.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
With the right business plan.
Sure.
All right. Where are we off to next, sir?
We're headed to Pennsylvania, Dave, where a $5 million police voodoo mind control lawsuit should be tossed, according to a U.S. judge. At least that's what he's...
What?
Yeah, that's what he's recommending. A federal magistrate judge is recommending the dismissal of a $5 million lawsuit filed by a central Pennsylvania man who claims police are using voodoo and witchcraft to control his mind. Well, you know, it'll happen. Howard B. Wright Jr. claims in his rambling complaint, and that's how it's stated here, that he was targeted for the paranormal attacks because one of his relatives was convicted for the slaying of a police officer during the 1969 New York race riots. Wright's allegations of witchcraft, voodoo, and mind control are fantastical and obviously have no basis in fact or law. That's the quote from Chief Magistrate Judge Susan E. Schwab, and she wrote that in urging U.S. Middle District Judge Yvette Kane to give Wright's suit the heave-ho. That's the exact quote here. 42-year-old Wright of York filed his complaint along with about 100 pages of various photos, letters to state officials, and other documents in February. As Schwab noted, Wright claimed that once under mind control, he had been forced to impersonate a police officer. There's a Walking Dead angle to the supposed conspiracy as well. Ooh, get ready for this, Dave.
Oh, Walking Dead zombie angle, huh?
Well, we didn't say...
Suddenly my interest is piqued.
We didn't say zombie. We just said Walking Dead angle.
Walking Dead is all about the zombies, man.
No, it's about the personalities, Dave, and the actual hidden message behind the show. Wright alleges that the ultimate goal of the mind control is to use reanimated police officers to take over the country. The magistrate judge
doesn't sound so crazy now, does it, Tim?
Well, that's why they threw it out, Dave, because it was crazy.
What?
Yeah. In addition to cash, In addition to cash, Wright is asking that the state corrections secretary and a county judge be required to pay his health care expenses and provide a safe living situation for him and his family. That's what Schwab noted. He also sought the firings of the police officers who are supposedly manipulating him. The Wright's reference to a relative in the race riot case apparently involves Leon Wright, who in 2003 was convicted of second-degree murder for the shooting death of police officer Henry Schad. Leon Wright received a 4.5 to 10-year prison sentence, the penalty that applied to such a conviction when Schad's slaying occurred in 1969. Court records show Howard Wright has a history of criminal convictions dating to 1995. Several are for drunken driving.
You know what this guy needs, Tim?
What's that?
Dave Schrader, defense attorney at law.
How would you get him off here, sir? I mean, not literally. Not literally, but not literally. But, you know, I mean...
I'm an attorney. I'm not a conjugal visit, Tim.
I'm not saying that.
Good God.
I'm just saying, you know, how would he... Well, it says here that the lawsuit's going to toss him off. Or should be tossed, one or the other.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like when you pay somebody to kill someone, Tim, you're whacking them, you're offing them, you're whacking offing them. What is it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that language confuses me.
Very confusing. You know what isn't confusing, though?
What's that?
I don't know. I was asking if you knew what wasn't confusing.
No, I'm very confused by the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Have you ever had digestive troubles?
Oh, yes.
Weight gain?
Uh-huh.
Low energy?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
How about some achy joints?
Yep, been there.
Well, I know you and I have, and there's probably many of our listeners that have as well. And if you're struggling with any of these, Dr. Stephen Gundry says you're not alone. So do Dave and Tim. And we know the real cause. Dr. Gundry is one of the most famous and well-respected diet experts in the world. And he says that most of these problems aren't about lack of exercise or even genetics. The real cause is leaky gut. Leaky gut happens when you eat certain foods that contain lectins, which are little tiny particles that tear holes in your digestive tract. These particles then wreak havoc on your insides, causing poor digestion, fatigue, achy joints and muscles, brain fog, and even worse health issues. So what's the solution? Glad you asked. Well, you just need to know a few foods to avoid. And Dr. Gundry has made a free video describing exactly what they are. People who watch the video have reported more energy, smoother bowel movements, slimmer waistlines, and a stronger, healthier body. If you want to finally tackle your leaky gut, just watch the video at TotalRestore2.com. TotalRestore 2. That's the number 2.com. TotalRestore2.com. Don't wait any longer. Get the answers you need, the answers you deserve. All right, Tim, where are we off to next?
We're headed out to Connecticut, Dave, where historically speaking, the area is home to many ghost stories, that according to this article. Connecticut is said to be one of the most paranormal states in the whole country. It's generally known that this is where the nation's first witch trials and hangings occurred. Much like Murch was saying, 3 decades prior to the most famous trials in Salem, Massachusetts. Connecticut native Courtney McInvale Reardon is a major source of information regarding paranormal activity and is contacted often in regard to the topic. The famous Warren family has investigated Reardon's childhood home. Some of us have heard stories about the Old Leather Man. Just before the Civil War, he would complete his walk over dozens of miles in Connecticut and New York in a clockwise circuit every 30 days or so, completely dressed in old leather clothing. A book by author Dan DeLuca entitled The Old Leather Man, Historical Accounts of a Connecticut and New York Legend, is a good read about the unusual traveler. Gardner Lake, bounded by Salem, Montville, and Bozrah, the location of a continued legend involving the planned movement of an old house from one side of the lake to the other on the ice in the late 1800s is, after a warm rain, the house with the most contents, including a piano still inside, broke through the ice and settled at the bottom of the lake. Fishermen even today insist that they still hear faint piano music coming from the lake bottom. They ask the question, is it true that Bluff Point in Mystic is the site of a giggling ghost who visits diners at supper time and leaves footprints on restaurant floors? What about the folks who have visited and experienced the Moonlight Ghost Stroll in Mystic? They enjoyed it all right, but later at home, when looking at photos that had been taken on the tour, one viewer found phenomena that he just couldn't explain. At Seaside Sanatorium State Park in Waterford, built in 1934, one may get a little concerned about unexplained noises, including those inside abandoned buildings. Dark Manor is a professional haunted house in Baltic. It has been voted best haunted house in Connecticut, and those who visit maintain that it's the best that they've ever seen. The owners change the scary themes every year in order to keep interest high for visitors. Benson's Beware Haunted Woods in Thompson is near the Massachusetts state line, and participants claim that they loved the walk, that's in quotes. And while in the area, we must mention Victoria, a ghost who usually hangs out in or near the balcony of the Bradley Playhouse in Putnam. She usually doesn't show herself if people are around. However, she has been observed on the stage, even backstage, and also in the basement of the building. 6.5 miles away from Putnam, we find Barahak in Pomfret. It's an abandoned town, actually, settled in the year 1780, where today voices are still heard, people singing, and other unsettling experiences. The site is now on private property. And finally, in Griswold, Connecticut, not Clark Griswold, but evidently just Griswold, we find Old Man Simon watching over his farm and former bed and breakfast. Say that 10 times fast. The problem is Simon Brewster, or at least his spirit, once owned the family farm, and he still enjoys tending to the garden and orchards. Witnesses say his wife still helps him sometimes as well. And if you're ever there, you hear footsteps on the stairs. It's just the couple going up to bed, evidently. Well, that's kind of creepy. Don't let the fact that they both died in the previous century bother you too much as well. There you go.
Well, why should that bother you?
Because they're going to bed forever and ever and ever, Dave. Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty good plan. I've been running a little ragged. Sleeping forever and ever and ever sounds like something I'd be down with, Tim. You know what else I'm down with? I'm down with hearing from our listeners. And we would love to hear your stories. We want your phone calls, your shared experiences with the strange and supernatural. But how do you do it? Is that what you asked him? How do you do it?
How do you do it, Dave?
Well, I'm glad you asked him. Well, it's real simple. You can always email me, dave@darknessradio.com, and send me your paranormal experiences. Again, dave@darknessradio.com. Or let's say, I don't know, maybe you'd like your voice featured, telling your very own story, your own supernatural story heard right here on the premier paranormal program, Beyond the Darkness. And say you'd like to call and maybe harass Tim sexually over the phone, and I can't give you his phone number on air because he's such a jerk about it.
Yep.
Such a snob and so stuck up that he won't let the world know his personal phone line.
Well, I think that's just natural boundaries, Dave. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, whatever excuse you come up with. How about this? How about if you call our Beyond the Darkness voicemail? You can call in, leave a message to Tim of any length that you'd like. That's whatever topic you want, or you can leave a message for me and tell me your supernatural stories, whether they're funny, heartwarming, scary, weird, bizarre, terrifying, ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, Ouija board stories. I want to hear them all. You get 3 minutes to record a story. If you run out of time, you can just call back and pick up where your story left off. We'll put the stories together and play them on an upcoming episode. How do you do that? Call 651-300-4977. That's 651-300-4977 and be a part of the show, or email those stories to me at dave@darknessradio.com. Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
How'd you like to join me in Wookiee Hole?
Pardon me. What are we doing? We've
I'd like to take you down to Wookiee Hole, Tim.
We've been close over the years, my friend, but I don't ever want to be with you inside a Wookiee Hole. That does not sound like a good time. Yeah.
A ghost hunt is going to take place at Wookiee Hole due to the well-known presence of ghosts there, Tim.
Oh.
The event is going to take place on Saturday, May 18th from 8:30 p.m. And organizers promise that any encounters will be with the dead and 100% real. The hunt is led by a supernatural team, including a medium from Supernatural Tours and Events. That spokesperson, Andrew, explained why they think Wookiee Hole is a perfect place for a paranormal experience, Tim.
I bet it is.
That's right. That weekend, Tim, you can spend your time deep, dark into Wookiee Hole.
Oh, my. Yeah.
We have chosen Wookiee Hole because of its intense history and huge amount of reported strange occurrences, Tim.
I bet.
Yeah. It's also a well-known story about a witch who allegedly cursed a romance, which led to the man becoming a monk and seeking revenge after his relationship fell apart. So it's the witch of Wookiee Hole, Tim. Both ghosts have been spotted in the caves. Wookiee Hole's rich history, which has left behind the remarkable geological formations, has also imparted gifts for spiritualists, they say. Andrew said the caves also have around 45,000 years worth of history, which create the perfect scene for the paranormal. To further that, a human skeleton was also found on site, which could explain more paranormal occurrences. Supernatural Tours and Events is frequently seen on television, and in 2006, director Andrew Fruinghouse worked on TV's Derek Acor's Ghost Town TV program. They've also appeared on Channel 4, ITV, the Discovery Channel, and have written articles or publications including Chat, Its Fate, and Woman's Own. The Wookiee Hole hunt promises to tap into this market-leading ghost seeking, Tim. So if you want to tap into a Wookiee hole, this is your chance, Tim. Well, you want to go deep into the Wookiee hole to see what kind of strangeness you find, Tim. I've got the place for you.
I don't know if you want to tap into a Wookiee hole that has a skeleton in it, Dave. That means that someone's been there and never quite made its way out. Just saying. The
ghost hunt includes the use of equipment and participation in experiments as seen on TV and the chance to hopefully experience something paranormal in an atmospheric setting. According to the company website, techniques are interactive and include seances, EVP, medium experiments, divination, including glass, dowsing rods, and table rapping, Tim.
Table rapping?
Uh-huh. It says, our ghost hunts are 100% real and include absolutely no trickery ever. We take pride in our ghost hunts and have built up an excellent reputation for keeping our ghost hunts this way. Is it possible to guarantee paranormal activity? But we can ensure, or it is possible. Good spell check there. I think what they meant to say, Tim, if I were to be the editor of said article, it is impossible to guarantee paranormal activity, but we can ensure that you enjoy the event. Did I say activity?
Activity.
Paranormal activity.
Yep.
So what happens during the ghost hunts? Is that what you're asking, Tim?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Customers split into groups throughout the event and spend time in each area. These are normally 3 sessions throughout the evening, lasting around an hour. This allows everyone the chance to investigate each area. Team leaders then direct the experiments with the group, and if you want, you can take part of it. Under most circumstances, they do not take part. This ensures that if something happens, you know it's not them. On their website, they answer a few burning Q&As. So most importantly, will a ghost follow you home? Only if it came with you. It's extremely unlikely that a ghost will follow you home. Protection is used on our experiments as well, they said. Will I get possessed? Good question, Tim. Probably not. It happens, but it's rare. We do use protection for that, too. Will a dead family member or friend come through? It does happen, but we think it's a nice thing. If you prefer this not to happen, simply let us know, and we can either talk to you privately or try to contact another spirit. And here's the last question on here, Tim. Can I bring alcohol with me? All of our ghost hunts are strictly no alcohol events. Aww. Anyone who attends the event under the influence of anything who bring, either of those, this is so poorly written. Yeah. Anyway, if you get caught with it, you get booted out without a refund. This ghost hunt is for your safety, Tim. Yeah. That's what they're telling you. It's for your safety.
You want to be sober and protected before you plunge into the Wookiee hole.
That's true.
Yeah.
60 seconds. That's exactly how long this commercial lasts. You know what else you can do in about a minute? Get an offer for your car with TrueCar. That's right. In the amount of time it takes to floss your teeth, pet your dog, do a few sit-ups, or just listen to my voice, you can get a true cash offer. Best of all, you can do it from your smartphone or home. Just go to TrueCar and simply enter your license plate number and watch how your car's details pop up. Answer a few questions and you'll get an accurate true cash offer from a local TrueCar certified dealer. It's just that easy. After that, you can bring your car in and they'll check it out with you together. You can ask questions and get the answers you need, so there's never any surprises. Then simply leave with your check or trade in your car for a new ride. So when you're ready to experience a better way to sell or trade in your car, check out TrueCar today. We'll be back with more of the best in paranormal talk radio. I'm Dave, that's Tim. This is Beyond the Darkness. If you like our show, you're going to love Offbeat with Ricky Anderson and Mir Harris on Podcast One. The head of A&R for the Kanye West-founded label Good Music and the music executive turned activist as they welcome Apple executive and world-famous DJ Zane Lowe. Download new episodes of Offbeat with Ricky Anderson and Mir Harris every week on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One.
Beyond the Darkness.
Welcome back to the program. This is Beyond the Darkness. I'm Dave. That's Tim. Tim, where are we going next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, Dave, I hope you're sitting down. I hope you're ready for this. A mutant three-eyed python called Monty is found in the Australian outback. It's your favorite guy, Dave. It's your favorite little guy. Unfortunately, it has a tragic ending. He died.
All right. This story I can get with. What's going on?
Oh, no.
What?
Well, park rangers, he died, Dave. It's tragic.
I know. It's one less terrifying thing that wants to eat me with three eyes, Tim.
Oh, he's got the cutest little face, though, Dave. Park rangers have been left scratching their heads after finding a malformed three-eyed python in the Australian outback. The snake, who rangers have named Monty, cutest little name ever, was discovered in the Northern Territory town of Humpty-Doo. It even has a cute name to the town. On the Arnhem...
Hi, and welcome to Humpty-Doo. This is me three-eyed snake.
Well... I've used that line before. Found in Humpty-Doo on the Arnhem Highway several weeks ago.
Who wants to check out me Wookiee hole?
The strange-looking reptile, a territory-long carpet python, I've used that line as well, was just...
Hey, have a look at me carpet python. It's quite the stunner.
He's territory-long, you know. Was just 3 months old, 40 centimeters long. That's right, ladies. Get a look at him. Had 3 functioning eyes. We don't brag about that part. When he was picked up by wildlife experts in late March, caring for Monty was difficult for the team at NT Parks and Wildlife as the young snake struggled to feed due to his deformities. We don't point that out either. He's sensitive about that. Ranger Ray Chato confirmed that the snake died last week. It's remarkable he was able to survive so long in the wild with his deformities, and he was struggling to feed before he died last week. Oh, poor Monty. After being found, Monty was sent for x-rays, which revealed the origin of the extra eye. I say it was plenty of push-ups. That's what it was. It was generally agreed that the eye likely developed very early during embryonic stage of a development, Mr. Chato said. It is extremely unlikely that this is from environmental factors and is almost certainly a natural occurrence as malformed reptiles are relatively common. Monty's remains are now being kept at the CSIRO Research Center in Darwin. Carpet pythons are commonly found throughout Australia and can grow up to be 3 meters in length. The non-venomous species feasts on frogs, lizards, birds, and small mammals. There you go.
Check out me carpet python. I got some weird twin stories, Tim. No, not the Minnesota twins.
No, they're doing well this season, you know.
You know, two children that share the same womb. A womb with a view, if you would.
Oh, well.
Now, let's start at the deep end with this one. Swedish twins, Tim, Ursula and Sabina.
Oh, okay.
Sounds kind of like every dream you've had in college.
I really did, yeah.
Dave, I can't make it tonight. I'll be with Sabina and Ursula, the Swedish twins. Well, they took a holiday to Ireland, Tim. Nothing unusual there, just 2 sisters getting away from it all. Except while they were there, they decided to run into oncoming cars on the motorway.
Ooh.
That's a bit mental. I'm sure you'll agree with that, Tim.
Well...
Sabina was released the next day only to murder a random man and then leap off a bridge. Neither twin had any previous history of mental illness. Just a weird way to end your day in Ireland, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
They don't put that on the travel brochures.
No, they never do.
Come on out and enjoy Ireland. And if you get bored driving to oncoming traffic, murder a man and jump off a bridge.
It's an attractive campaign, I know that.
Tim, that was horrible. Why would you say all that? If you have anger towards Tim and you're Irish, just send him an email at tim@darknessradio.com. I apologize after the fact for what he made me say. How about the story of separated at birth, Tim?
Yeah.
There's always stories like this. This is one of the most famous, though. Identical twins, Jim Springer and Jim Lewis, were separated at birth. Both were given the name Jim by their respective adoptive parents. The pair both became police officers. Both of them married twice. First to women named Linda and then to women named Betty. They both named their sons James Allen and their dogs Toy. To add to the mystery, they both loved the same beer, smoked the same cigarettes, and drove the same car. That's pretty wild.
Was it their daddy's Thunderbird?
I don't know. Twin Edith Cassis decided she was going to marry Victor Sigonali. And for some strange reason, her parents tried to block the ceremony. The reason? Well, he was in prison. Still, each to their own. It's her decision, right? Oh, did I mention, Tim, he was serving time for killing her twin sister?
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. The parents tried to get the ceremony legally blocked on grounds of insanity, but failed. Victor is still serving time for his crime, but is adamant he won't kill this sister when he gets out. So that's reassuring, Tim.
Oh, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, she was like, I know what my sister was like. Do you think that was it?
It could be.
How about the perfect crime, Tim? Should we talk about twin perfect crime?
Sure.
When a high-end jewelry store was robbed in Germany in 2009, police had two suspects. The problem was they were identical twin brothers. Police knew that one of them had done it, and they had DNA evidence to prove it. The only issue is they didn't know which one. Identical twins have identical DNA. So both Hassan and Abbas O walked away without being punished, Tim. I have that problem at home. When my kids do something and I don't trust any of them, who do you punish? Do you punish them all?
Yep.
Oh, you just bring the sickle down?
Yep.
I just let them walk all over me. And then I go in my room and sit in the closet and cry for a while.
Oh, no.
Eating Little Debbie snack cakes.
Oh, no.
How about some twin telepathy, Tim?
Okay.
A 2003 television show set out to prove a psychic connection between twins using brothers Richard and Damien Powell. Damien was hooked up to a polygraph machine to measure his responses while his brother was kept in a separate room. During several moments, they made Richard jump, first by dipping his bare feet in ice water, then by showing him a snake at the exact moment. This happened, at the exact moment this happened, the polygrapher Damien showed a notable response, as if he was sharing his brother's emotion. Of course, this was TV, so you can take that just with a pinch of salt, is what they're saying, Tim. And as a guy who's filming a TV show, I take umbrage with that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's a twist on the old separated at birth story, Tim.
Okay.
We have a set of non-identical twins that were set to be married after meeting and having an undeniably strong connection.
Oh, no.
Haven't we seen this story play out before?
I think so, yeah.
Of course, they discovered they were brother and sister and were understandably heartbroken. Oh,
Ew.
and they didn't realize it until after the wedding.
Ew.
Awkward.
They
Kind of
did
puts that
it.
whole Luke and Leia thing into perspective, doesn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it does.
Now that one little kiss doesn't seem so icky.
Nope.
God, she's hot. Look at her. Oh. It's like that scene from Joe Dirt when he thinks she's his sister and then says, well, can we, have sex with her one more time before confirming it? People are weird. In Finland, Tim, a 72-year-old man was struck by a large truck and killed while riding his bike. A couple hours later, the police were called to another accident where a 72-year-old man had been hit by a truck while cycling. The police thought a mistake had been made, but it transpired that they were twin brothers bicycling in opposite directions, both suffering the same fate on the same day.
Weird.
Yeah, that is spooky action at a distance right there, my friend.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right, where are we off to next?
We go to Eugene, Oregon, where a stabbing suspect told police he believes he's part alien. This according to court documents.
Sounds plausible.
Let
me put on my Dave Schrader defense attorney at law hat and see if I can wrangle a case for this guy.
Okay. A man accused of stabbing a passing motorist earlier this month in West Eugene after a brief confrontation told police he believes aliens are taking over the planet. This according to according to a search warrant affidavit filed April 12th, but made publicly available on Friday. 32-year-old Michael Handy, who's quite raw all the time, was arrested April 11th and charged with a single count of first-degree assault. According to the affidavit, Handy had allegedly been throwing items at cars near West 6th Avenue and Garfield Street that afternoon when one man stopped and confronted Handy. During the brief confrontation, the victim was apparently stabbed. The incident was at least partially captured on video from a passing Lane Transit District bus, according to an affidavit. On video, the affidavit states Handy rushed up to the victim's driver's side door and stabbed the victim as he was getting out of the vehicle. The victim told police he had stopped to confront Handy and asked, "Why are you throwing stuff at my car?" However, the victim...
Fair question.
Very fair, yeah. However, the victim did not realize he had been stabbed until he drove away. He pulled over and flagged down a Eugene officer. This according to the affidavit. The victim was taken to Sacred Heart Medical Center at River Bend. His injuries were not considered life-threatening. Handy was found and arrested a few blocks away. He rode his bicycle to West 5th Avenue and Grant Street when police caught up to him. Handy tried to flee police on the bike but crashed it and was taken into custody. Handy was allegedly uncooperative with police who used pepper spray on him. He had a knife sheath on his belt but no knife at the time of the arrest. A glass tube was with burnt methamphetamine residue in it was also found in Handy's possession. During an interview with the Eugene Police Department, Handy would not stay on topic and exhibited signs of meth use, telling police he believes he's part alien and the world is being taken over by aliens. Handy is due in court May 20th for a pretrial conference. His trial is currently scheduled for June 7th. So, Dave Schrader, attorney at law, what is your defense?
I got nothing. This guy's a moron. Am I clear enough on that? I'm not sure where to go with that story. I feel like, this one might be even outside of my realm of being able to fix.
Sorry.
And, I've watched a lot of TV and legal procedure programs, Tim, and I can't see a loophole.
Yeah. Sorry, 32-year-old Mike Handy.
I tried. I put in the effort. Well, not much of an effort, but I did put in some effort. Well, I didn't put in some effort. I put in very, very, to be honest, Tim, very little effort in trying to help him out on this case.
Well, them's the breaks.
An Indian Army has discovered Yeti footprints on a remote mountain pass, heralding the elusive snowman find, Tim. The Indian Army last month came across footprints it says belong to the Yeti, the ape-like snow beast that rivals the Northwest's Bigfoot and Scotland's Loch Ness Monster for the unofficial title of the most famous mythical creature in the world. The mysterious footprints, the Indian Army wrote in a tweet on Monday, are 32 inches by 15 inches. Wow, that's big. They're found by a mountain expedition team close to Makalu Base Camp, Tim, in the Himalayas. The Army added that the elusive snowman only had been seen at Makalu Brown National Park in the past. The remote base camp is on Mount Makalu near the border between Nepal and Tibet. The Indian Army recently has been involved in border skirmishes with Pakistan following a February suicide bombing that killed 40 Indian security officers in Kashmir. The Yeti tweet this week prompted mockery on social media, but the Times of India reports that the Army is not backing down, rejecting derision over its mountaineering team's claims of having found footprints of the mythical Yeti. The Army said that the evidence about the abominable snowman has been photographed and will be handed over to subject matter experts for scientific evaluation. The mountainous region where the Army discovered the tracks long has attracted adventurers seeking out Yeti, and in 1950s, the Times of India claims that Nepal issued a Yeti hunting license. Despite such governmental measures to draw serious hunters, the snow creature's existence remains unproven, Tim, until now.
Oh.
We've got him on the phone.
Oh.
No, we don't.
Oh.
Yeah, I found out he hasn't been paying his bills, and they turned off his phone.
Oh,
Damn
no.
you, Yeti. We were so close.
Yeah.
All right, where are we off to next, Tim?
We're going to Connecticut, Dave.
Again?
Yeah.
Again with Connecticut?
Connecticut. Where a bizarre find by road crew worker, just one, stumps police investigators out there. A bizarre find by a road crew employee has detectives with the Torrington Police Department searching the internet and other sources to find out just what it may mean. The worker who was working alongside the roadway on Wednesday, April 25th near Winstead Road came upon what he later learned was a cow's stomach with pennies on top and an Asian sword sleeve stuck in the ground by it. That's kind of weird. That according to Torrington Police Detective James Crean. At first, the worker thought the stomach was a fetus and called the police. That according to Crean. When officers arrived on the scene, they contacted the medical examiner's office to identify the find. We could pretty well determine that it wasn't a human body part, and an autopsy by the medical examiner found that it was a cow's stomach, he said. But what exactly does the find mean? There were no reports of any dead cows in the area, and a body was not found. Is it some type of sacrifice, the department is wondering? I have to say it was a very odd find, and we would like to know what it exactly means, Crean said. That's why he has searched the internet and other books and sources trying to track down a comparison without any luck, except that Cooper, it says Cooper. It says Cooper here, but they mean copper. Except that copper, such as found in pennies, is said to help one move on to the next life. Cooper will do it, too, for a couple of pennies. I don't know if you know that or not. The sword sleeve really has us stumped, and why the pennies on the stomach, he asked. To help, Crean is asking anyone who might know of some similar ritual or practice to give him a call so he can put the case to bed. We don't want people worried. We just want to find out what it means, if anything, he added. Anyone who might have information or know what the find may mean can reach Crean. If you have a pen and paper, here we go. 860-489-2061. That's the number. Yeah.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, pennies on a cow's stomach and a sheath in the ground.
Doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. Kind of.
Usually you put pennies over the eyes so that they can pay the boatman as he takes them across river Styx.
Yeah. Yep.
Pennies on the belly, though, I don't know.
That's weird.
Pennies on the belly, through the ripples how they shine. There's been strange encounters of a ghostly kind, Tim.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. After 66 ink-soaked years, the Herald of South Africa at the Bakken Street building, staff of the Herald and Weekend Post last week bade a poignant farewell to the building steeped in history. Strange vibes and spine-chilling sightings of human figures flitting past are among the eerie experiences that the staff in Bakken Street, the Herald's home for more than 100 years, have reported over the years. For stereotypically cynical journalists, one had to personally experience it to genuinely believe it. The ghostly encounters were, however, verified by a team of paranormal investigators a few years ago. Former Herald librarian and photographer Judy De Vega told how she was processing photographs at about 8 p.m. on a Saturday in 2009 when a bizarre incident occurred. I was working alone in the building when the lights went off suddenly. I didn't take much notice, but then I realized it was actually switched off. De Vega then heard the goods lift at the back of the clothes as if someone was coming into the office, although there was nobody else in the room. I suddenly got the cold shivers, and as I was preparing to leave, I saw a fleeting shadow walking past behind me, reflected on my cell phone screen. When I looked back, there was nobody there. I took my stuff and headed to the lift, and as the doors closed, I saw through the glass panel a man sitting at a colleague's desk, staring straight at the lift. He had not been there before. A few weeks before, former scanner and graphic artist Mani Boissin, I don't know why I felt the need to hit those syllables like that, Tim. He was sitting in an empty office while working on a public holiday. Boissin said a young lady aged about 20 walked to his desk. He was having lunch in a colleague's office, and it looked as if she was dropping off pictures for him to scan. When he went to his desk, there were no pictures, and the woman had vanished. And former machine room foreman Derek Heaton claimed to have seen the ghost of a night watchman on quite a few occasions. These and other accounts sparked the interest of paranormal investigators Paul Hunt and Devon Steinberg, who in November 2008 scanned the length and breadth of the newspaper house armed with a video camera and electromagnetic field meter. Hunt reported to have picked up strong readings from the meter. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, all that, it's gone now. The building's going away, Tim.
Yikes.
Going away now. This is it. We're coming into our final three stories. What have you got next for me, sir?
Well, the number of dead Facebook users may outnumber the living by 2070.
That's cheery.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, so go on.
All right, so it's kind of scary that here's the deal, actually. Facebook may become a ghost town, Dave, as we know it. And not like the ghost town, like you would play a little game on the side of Facebook. It could become a ghost town.
MySpace ghost town?
Yeah, was that MySpace that ghost town? No.
Well, no, but just MySpace is kind of a ghost town now.
Yeah. A report predicts the number of deceased people with Facebook profiles could outnumber the living in 50 years. I mean literal ghost town here, Dave. Like your profiles of dead people would be literal dead people. The dead may outnumber the number of living people using Facebook within the next 50 years. A new report has predicted which could prove catastrophic to future historians and archivists should the company choose to delete it. Carl Oman and David Watson of the Oxford Internet Institute combined projected mortality data from a United Nations data set distributed by nationality and age, merged with information scraped from the social network's publicly available audience insights research tool. The study, published in journal Big Data and Society, examined two potential scenarios. In the unlikely case of Facebook failing to attract any new users to join the platform from 2018, around 1.4 billion of its 2.38 billion users are likely to die before 2100, meaning the dead could outnumber the living by 2070. This is a cheery story. The second possibility found that if Facebook continued to attract users at its present rate of 13% global growth annually, the dead are likely to reach parity with the living by the first few decades of the 22nd century, meaning it's likely to host around 4.9 billion profiles belonging to deceased people. The accumulation of dead users' profiles could prove extremely costly for Facebook in the long run, which offers friends and family the option to turn the profile of a deceased user into a form of digital memorial, allowing friends to write tributes and share photos or delete it altogether. Facebook is in a very tricky position because the network is obviously not built with death in mind, lead author Mr. Oman told which is the publisher of this article. The reason they can store so much data because it can be used to tailor and produce targeted advertising, but if half the users on the servers are dead, they aren't very useful consumers. So then what's the incentive to keep hosting all this data? Well, the scenario is unlikely to cause Facebook any issues within the next decade. Hosting the profiles of millions of dead users could prove to be a serious financial burden, raising questions over whether there's a responsibility to preserve the archives of dead profiles, and if so, who should pay for it, he pointed out. This is arguably the largest archive of human behavior even assembled in the history of our species, and it would be a shame just to destroy it all just because there weren't a marketing incentive to save it. It would be an invaluable source to future historians. Facebook is an example of what awaits any platform with similar connectivity and global reach. Adding the sudden dissolution of the company, as with former social site MySpace, as Dave pointed out, could force it to sell or delete its user data, according to the authors. Sheryl Sandberg, Facebook's chief operating officer, recently confirmed the platform will no longer suggest users invite deceased users to events or wish them a happy birthday. I don't know if you've ever done that before, Dave, but I've made that awkward mistake. As part of a raft of changes to prevent dead users' profiles from appearing in painful ways, current legislation does not prevent Facebook from training algorithms on dead users' profiles, as they are not protected in the same manner as living users, that according to the report. So now, I don't know if, and I don't know if you've ever run across this on Facebook before, Dave, but you do have profiles that go inactive. I mean, we all have weeded those out of our friends list because you're limited to, you're limited to 5,000, and every once in a while you go through and you clean out the quote unquote dead profiles. But then you do run across people who pass away, and you get to an age where you have friends that pass away, let's just say prematurely in their lifespan. Mm-hmm. And it gets harder and harder because you go, you know what? I don't want to wipe them out of my friends list. I'd like to remember them, and I do have friends in my friends list who I haven't let go of their profiles because I like to remember them. I like to have them there and be able to go and see their sites, and their families have kept their sites up, so that you can go and see them. But I have other friends. I had a friend in broadcasting who passed away, and they've taken down his site. So
yeah, I admit I go in on a regular, and if I see people that have passed away, whether they were good friends or not, 99% of the time I just unfriend, so that way I can keep in touch with newer friends and people that are still here and trying to make communication, and not out of a sign of disrespect, just out of a sign of, unfortunately, we're limited on the social media platform.
Yeah.
From doing, and keeping all of those people as a part of our memories. But sometimes it is hard.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. And I'm getting to that age now where I'm watching a lot of people, my contemporaries around my age, dying, and I don't really like that memory of it popping up all the time. So I just I disconnect, and then that's it.
I hear you.
If that makes me a bad guy, then take a look at the bad guy. Then take a look at the bad guy.
I hear you. But yeah, it's kind of disconcerting that the number of living will be outnumbered by the number of dead by 2070 if current numbers continue.
Hey, ghosts in haunted houses, Tim, might be caused by carbon monoxide leaks.
Weird.
Yeah, we all have our views and opinions on the supernatural. Many people are highly skeptical regarding the existence of ghosts, ghouls, phantoms, and other supernatural entities, while believers will adamantly argue that the paranormal is very real, backing up their claims with countless stories and alleged sightings of the past. There are also plenty of people who find themselves somewhere in the middle, not quite sure what to believe. No matter where you find yourself on the spectrum of skeptic to believer, the subject of spooky sightings in haunted houses is always a bit of an interesting one. A Gallup poll from 2005 revealed that around 37% of Americans believed in haunted houses, and many people love to hear these stories of these kinds of spooky old homes and eerie abandoned mansions. But it turns out that the science might have a very rational explanation for these kinds of tales. For years, people have attempted to debunk ghost stories and find logical explanations for so-called haunted houses. And in many cases, creaky floorboards and strange bumps in the night really do have perfectly logical explanations and causes. Anything from faulty wiring to drafts and old pipes could cause the likes of cold spots and strange sounds. But what about ghostly apparitions and sightings of spooky figures? Well, there might be a reasonable explanation for those instances as well. A Halloween-themed episode of This American Life began with a retelling of a story that had been documented in the American Journal of Ophthalmology back in the 20s. On November 15th of 1921, to be precise, a woman claimed that she and her family had experiences some very odd events in their home. She revealed that she'd heard footsteps passing overhead when nobody was there. Her nights would be disturbed by loud noises like furniture being moved around. She experienced an eerie feeling like someone was following her as she walked along the halls of the house. Her bed sheets would be torn away in the middle of the night, and most distressingly of all, she once saw a man and a woman sitting at the foot of her bed. It all sounds like the perfect plot for a horror movie, but it was a very real and terrifying experience to the woman and her family. She spoke to medical professionals, friends, and family members about her ghostly encounters and couldn't seem to get any real answers or help until one day. Her brother-in-law suggested that the family was being poisoned and suffering from hallucinations as a result. It turned out that the brother-in-law's informed opinion was right on the money. The woman called in some experts to take a look around the home, and it was quickly discovered that a faulty furnace was leaking carbon monoxide around the house rather than expelling it up the chimney as it should have done. The family were slowly being poisoned every single second that they lived in that house. Carbon monoxide is a very deadly gas that can cause all kinds of medical symptoms, from headaches and dizziness to vomiting, chest pains, and even death in large doses. It attacks the body by latching onto red blood cells, preventing oxygen from being carried to the organs, muscles, and brains. Essentially, this is what caused the family's hallucinations, as a lack of oxygen to the brain combined with dizziness, drowsiness, and other symptoms could make it very easy for someone to think they're hearing sounds or seeing shadowy figures. NBC reported that a very similar case occurred in 2005, where a terrified woman was found after allegedly seeing a ghost in her shower. Turned out that her new water heater had been recently fitted and it was faulty, leading to a carbon monoxide leak. This just shows how dangerous and scary carbon monoxide really is and how the poisoning can affect us, proving yet again how important it is to get boilers and water heaters checked regularly and to have carbon monoxide detectors fitted around the home. Of course, not all haunted stories can be tracked back to carbon monoxide poisoning, but these true stories show that there are some cases where ghosts and ghouls really aren't all they seem to be. There are still a lot of believers in haunted houses out there and plenty of strange noises and grisly mysteries left unexplained and unsolved. I thought that was a great story because, again, it might be something if you believe you're having really big amounts of paranormal activity, it might behoove you to get one of those carbon monoxide detectors. And one way you have to run it, and something to remember is, especially it happens at night a lot, that may be when your furnace is kicking in and maybe pushing that around quite a bit more. So test with the furnace on, test your water heaters, make sure that you don't have a carbon monoxide leak or poisoning going on in your house. That's a little PSA from your friends at Beyond the Darkness.
There you go.
All right, Tim, where are we going off to next?
This is the final story I have. And it's one that could qualify for most sent for the week, I think. I think this ended up in my social media quite a few times this past week.
A lot of people dropping it off in your Wookiee hole?
Yes, in my Wookiee hole. Firmly in my Wookiee hole, Dave. An Oxford University professor claims that aliens are already breeding with humans on Earth. I would say this poor professor is probably in line to be ostracized and just humiliated throughout the world.
No. Actually, go ahead. I like this. I'm going to actually have this guest is going to be with me in like a week or two on Midnight in the Desert.
The Korean academic has written a book called Alien Visitations and the End of Humanity. An Oxford University professor has claimed aliens are already breeding with humans to create a new hybrid species that will save the planet. Dr. Young-Hae Chi, a instructor in Korean at Oxford's Oriental Institute, part of the prestigious university, thinks this new species will save Earth from annihilation from climate change. Dr. Chi first said the hybrids may already exist in a lecture in 2012, but now has written a book on the subject. He believes there is a strong correlation between climate change and alien abductions, this according to this Oxford student newspaper. His book, written in Korean, is called Alien Visitations and the End of Humanity. He says he has identified 4 types of aliens: small, tall and bold, scaly with snake eyes, and insect-like. Dr. Chi believes the insect aliens may be in charge and give orders to the other types. The aliens exist in their own biosystem that humans cannot experience because our perception is limited by our organs, the professor has claimed. As the aliens are said to be highly intelligent, so Dr. Chi believes they could solve the problems on Earth in the future, such as climate change. He said, so they come not for the sake of us, but for the sake of them. Their survival, but their survival is actually our survival as well, the survival of the entire biosphere. Dr. Chi said he was still looking for more evidence to support my view. That's the quote from him. His initial lecture, Alien Abduction and the Environmental Crisis, outlined his theory. He cited an abduction researcher in the U.S. who argued that aliens' primary purpose is to colonize the planet by interbreeding with humans to produce a new hybrid species. Dr. Chi believes aliens appear on Earth when the planet is facing significant problems, such as climate change or nuclear war, and he concluded it may be more or less assumed that the hybrid project is a response to this impending demise of human civilization. And that's the end of the story. So there you go.
That's all, huh?
Yep.
Well, that's it for this week. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got a great show lined up for you with more of the best in paranormal talk radio. I'm Dave Schrader. That's Tim Dennis. And next week we'll be back and we'll be spending a good portion of the show just on your supernatural encounters. So again, we'd love to hear from you directly. If you want to call in and be a part of that show, 651-300-4977. Leave your paranormal stories there, 651-300-4977. Or email them to me at dave@darknessradio.com, and we will come out swinging with supernatural Parashare next weekend on the program. Have a great night. Be safe. Be kind. We'll see you again here tomorrow on Beyond the Darkness.